It's time now for your starts and sits for week number 7 for CBS Local Sports. I'm Jamey Eisenberg. That's Dave Richard. We'll give you some suggestions at every position that will help you win your league. Let's start at the quarterback position. Dave, Andy Dalton.
We talk about him all the time, don't we? I love him this week. He's going up against Kansas City. All but one quarterback has notched at least 22 fantasy points against the Chiefs this season. There's no doubt the Bengals are going to have to be aggressive offensively. They've got plus matchups across the board. Kansas City is giving up 357 passing yards per game. Dalton, 20 or more fantasy points in 3 of his last 5, 2 of them 30. Lots of upside, Jamey. He is a start this week.
Oh, he's a must start this week, and you should start him over a guy who was supposed to be a top 5 quarterback who's been playing great, except for last week, and probably not this week either. Deshaun Watson struggling with a chest injury, struggling behind a terrible offensive line. The Texans have allowed 25 sacks on the season in Jacksonville. Whew, that's going to be an angry defense coming home after 2 straight road losses. They're going to get after Deshaun Watson. They're going to make him a poor start for this week. You should avoid him. You should start Dalton. And as we look now at the running back position, we're going with Tariq Cohen, start of the week here on CBS Sports. Tariq Cohen's in line for a great game against the Patriots. He scored 53 PPR points in his last 2 games. He's doing the job as a receiver. He's doing the job as a running back. He's putting Jordan Howard on the bench. So should you. You should start Tariq Cohen in week number 7.
You know, I thought Jordan Howard was supposed to be the guy in Chicago. That's why we drafted him. You know what? The past 2 weeks, it hasn't been that way. You said it, Jamey. Keep him on the bench. He's been losing playing time. He has 0 catches in his last 2 games, so he's got to get it done as a running back, and he's got to get it done in the end zone. He fumbled at the goal line last week against Miami. I think if he's touchdown dependent, going up against the Patriots, they've only allowed 1 touchdown on the ground to a running back all season long. This should be a high-scoring game. I don't think Jordan Howard's going to be a part of it.
Give me a receiver that you like this week, Dave.
Chris Godwin is still out there on the waiver wire in about 35% of CBS Sports leagues. I don't know why. All he's done this season, Jamey, is catch a touchdown in 4 or 5 games. He has 5 or more catches in 3 of his last 4. He's going up against Cleveland at home. They've allowed 8 passing touchdowns in their last 5 games. Jameis Winston's playing great. Chris Godwin's going to dominate single coverage in the red zone. Look for him to find a touchdown in at least 50 yards.
Totally agree with you on Chris Godwin, and he's part of a crowded wide receiver core for Tampa Bay. So is Marvin Jones. The difference is Chris Godwin's producing as part of his team's success. Marvin Jones, hit or miss. He needs a touchdown to be successful because when Kenny Galladay's on the field, Matthew Stafford just does not connect with Marvin Jones. Those 2 guys, those 2 receivers, Galladay and Jones, have played 16 games together, a full NFL season over the last 2 years. Jones has 1 game with more than 4 receptions in those 16 outings. I think it's going to be tough for him against the Dolphins' boundary cornerbacks. This is a Golden Tate game. This is a Kenny Galladay game. This is not a game to trust Marvin Jones as anything more than a number 3 wide receiver. We move now to tight ends, and I love the situation for David Njoku. He has been on fire of late, and the matchup this week is fantastic. I think you're going to see him take advantage of this Tampa Bay secondary that has allowed 4 tight ends in a row to either get a touchdown or 90-plus receiving yards. That's tight ends. David Njoku's getting the targets. He's been productive. He'll be productive again. Top 5 tight end. You know the top 3 who you're starting. You're starting Ertz, you're starting Kelsey, you're starting Gronk. Put Njoku number 4. He's going to have a big, big week.
Baker Mayfield has been a blessing for David Njoku, but Alex Smith has been a curse for Jordan Reed. His targets haven't been on point to Reed. That's one of the problems that I saw when I watched his film this past week. He also looks a little less explosive. Remember, he's had all sorts of foot and toe injuries over the recent history, and he's taking on Dallas this week, Jamey. They have historically done very well against Reed, holding him to 70 yards or less without a touchdown in 7 of 8 meetings. So this is really not a great time to go with Jordan Reed. I think he'll have better matchups as soon as week 8. Week 8, week 9, he's got some nice games in front of him. That's when you'll feel better about starting Jordan Reed.
You're starting Andy Dalton, Tariq Cohen, Chris Godwin, and David Njoku. You should get away from Deshaun Watson, Jordan Howard, Marvin Jones, and Jordan Reed. This has been your starts and sits for week number 7 for CBS Local Sports.